Whether you hate Star Trek Discovery or love it, there was a very important moment during the Season 2 finale where everyone watching was holding their breath. Alex Kurtzman, the man currently responsible for dictating the direction of this iteration of Star Trek, gave an interview to Sci-Fi Wire a month before the finale and made a very direct statement. He promised he wouldn't leave fans hanging, and when pressed about whether the Season 2 ending would satisfy Star Trek fans, he said, "I damn well think so." And with that very confident statement, fans watched with bated breath as Spock and Michael Burnham sat on the outskirts of battle, trying to figure out how to get the Red Angel suit to make the leap into the future. Would the showrunner deliver on his promise? Was he sending every Discovery headache into the future so canon could be saved, while at the same time giving people who love the show a chance to watch their new favorite characters operate in a timeline all their own? It's minute 47 into the finale, and Michael has just returned from setting all of the signals. She says, "Okay, it's time to go, Spock. Get back to Discovery." Now up to this point, we know Discovery, her crew, and even Mirror Giorgio is going into the future with Michael. Control is defeated, so that removes the potential Borg concerns, and Admiral Cornwell pulled a needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one. We can't have someone high up in Starfleet mucking up our retcon. But now we have this huge problem. Spock is still going with Michael, and that messes up everything. Then at 47 minutes and 24 seconds, Spock's answer to Michael lets half of the audience breathe a huge sigh of relief. "Michael, I cannot." Boom. And the tug of war for Spock is over. Michael and Discovery go to the future, and everyone who knew the truth about it lies to Starfleet, saying it must have been a spore drive accident. And Spock even convinces Starfleet to directly order anyone who knew anything about Discovery or the spore drive to never talk about it again. Pretty good, huh? A neat little bow and everyone's happy. Shoot, you might even say all the Never Trekkers sorta won, right? It's a little like CBS and showrunners came out to the park with a really awesome basketball, but new rules on how to play. The people who had been playing basketball for a long time complained so loud and for so long, eventually Star Trek Discovery picked up their ball and went home. Yay, basketball was saved. Or was it? What if we told you sending Discovery into the future was actually a sort of checkmate for CBS? I mean, you might have won the game, but they still own the park, right? Canon may be saved as we know it, but that doesn't mean that Discovery hasn't been there all along, pulling the strings. Many people are excited about Star Trek Discovery going 950 years into the future so they can operate far beyond canon, past any other time we've explored in this universe. But is that true? Star Trek has already ventured into the near past of that time frame during Enterprise, and if you were a fan of having Discovery stay away from the last 50 years of Star Trek, you won't like what you're about to see. During the Enterprise TV series, the futuristic character Daniels, who interacts with the crew during all 4 seasons, is from the 31st century. During that time period, there were temporal agents attempting to enforce temporal accords signed 300 years earlier. These accords dictated that time travel could only be used to gather historical information and could not be used to change history. When several time-traveling factions disagreed with the accords, a temporal Cold War broke out, and the time agents from the 31st century were continuously attempting to protect the integrity of the timeline. To do this, they used proxies in the current time, like Jonathan Archer, to stop history from being changed. Of course, this didn't just happen in the 31st century. This also happened in the 29th century when the Temporal Integrity Commission interacted and used Voyager and its crew. The Next Generation had time travel police when Picard had to deal with Vorgons from the 27th century. And let's not forget the original series and Gary Seven, who was assisting history from the 24th century. The 24th century seems to be the beginning of the Time Police, as we find out in Deep Space Nine that there is a Department of Temporal Investigations when Sisko and his crew went back to stop Captain Kirk from being assassinated. Could it be that Discovery's leap into the future didn't stay a secret, and as a result, Starfleet decided investigating time travel would be a priority? It would also seem that the future is full of time travel organizations, factions, and ideologies. And it's for this reason we believe that because Discovery is operating outside of time, they would be an ideal target to be enlisted by the temporal agency from Enterprise that Daniels was a part of. Think about it. Discovery has nothing else to do in the future outside of trying to reunite Michael and her mother, and of course protect the 100,000-year-old sphere's information. They will be high value to any time-traveling organization, but most importantly, to the protectors of the Time Accord themselves. And once the information is secure, there will come a time when the crew considers going back to their time. This means time travel and everything that comes with it will be a serious topic in the future of this show. Time travel in Star Trek is organic. 50 of the 702 Star Trek episodes, from the original series to Enterprise, deal with time travel. And in every series, there is some form of time agent or time police unit that interacts with the crew. This is where Discovery will have an opportunity to be a part of the Star Trek history without it impacting storylines. If CBS decides to do it, they can involve Discovery anywhere they want in Star Trek. Take Enterprise and the crew of the NX-01. 10 of the show's 98 episodes included time travel, which is a larger percentage than any other Star Trek series. And several of those episodes surrounded a future guy who acted as a benefactor to the Suliban Cabal as part of the Temporal Cold War. While most people thought this future guy was likely a Romulan, come to find out it was actually a future Captain Archer all the time. He was trying to correct something that he had done wrong in the past. In fact, Brannon Braga admitted this to fans in November 2012 and said he was disappointed at never having the chance to establish that future guy really was Archer and see him travel to the 29th century. Now Discovery can play a role in showing us how that all went down. Scott Bakula, you busy? Perhaps that nebula we find Discovery in during the short trek Calypso is a bat cave of sorts for the crew to have a base of operations for time travel. We know what you're saying right now. Discovery has been sitting there for 1,000 years. How does that work? Well, the computer never said it was 1,000 years from 2255. Perhaps it was actually talking about 1,000 years from 3205. Also, time travel could be another explanation of how the ship's computer Zora was able to evolve herself into an AI. And since you have time cops in basically every iteration of Star Trek, Discovery can have an endless number of stories to interact with. We'd finally get to see the future versions of all those events that we've been wondering about. Discovery may have been involved in Time Ship Relativity's task to enlist 7 of 9 to travel into the past and prevent the present time destruction of Voyager as part of the Federation's Temporal Integrity Commission from the 29th century. Maybe we get to see the temporal accords of 2769 that created the Temporal Cold War and wreaked time havoc in the 22nd century. And Discovery could finally travel to the advanced world of Gary 7, which is 1,000 light-years from Earth's solar system, and learn more about why these time travelers conceal their existence from everyone else. And finally, we can find out who and what Vorgons are, and what their world looks like. Perhaps we could even reunite them with Captain Picard on his new series. The universe is full of temporal anomalies that could drive Discovery episodes for years to come if they wished. And in this way, instead of making it appear that Discovery stuck its tail between its legs and ran away, we can see that they actually were more of an integral part of the Star Trek universe than anyone could have imagined. In this way, CBS gets to claim a win, and fans of the show's 50-plus year history would add more to their Star Trek lore without changing anything. Win-win, anyone? But then again, Discovery may just go into the future to stay, forever a part of the 32nd century, taking us literally where no Star Trek fan has gone before. Until next time, may all your Star Trek paradoxes and fantasies come true, and live long and prosper.